Holders of the Zimbabwe Special Permit can stay in South Africa for up to 4 more years. The new form of documentation comes into effect from January 2018 until December of 2021.
The Zimbabwe Exemption Permit, or the ZEP, is extended to those with valid special permits and is not renewable. On the 1st of August, the Cabinet approved the Department of Home Affairs to reopen the reapplication process. The announcement comes as Zimbabweans living in the country had become anxious about their stay in South Africa. Minister Mkhize said that the conditions for the new permit entitles the holder to work, study or conduct business in the country.
Dispensation will assist greatly in advancing the objectives of the National Development Plan, Vision 2030, particularly in respect of the focus on the economy, attracting critical skills into the country and ensuring transfer of skills to our citizens for better employment prospects.
Well, we're joined in the studio by the Home Affairs Minister, Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize. Very good morning to you, Prof. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Now, just first of all, how does the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit differ from the Zimbabwean Special Permit?
I think they are completely different. It's a new application, which really is meant to give Zimbabweans an opportunity to be able to participate in our economy, those who want to, who are already permit holders of the ZSP. And also those who want to continue studying in this country, they can continue doing so. It's in the context of, you know, our cooperation within SADC and the AAU Vision 2063 that we must find ways of sharing our work and employment and skills development.
Now, you've touched upon the work and the people studying in South Africa from Zimbabwe, but what other reasons informed the decision to extend these visas?
I think we have a reality. You know, on Sunday, after I've announced this, the Zimbabwean exemption permit, I went to Beitbridge, the port of entry. We really have an influx of people between the two countries that is unprecedented. So we have to make sure that it happens in a legal and orderly manner. And so that's an attempt to say, let's begin to crunch numbers and say who is in South Africa doing what and for how long.
Now, looking at the Zimbabweans that are in the country right now that are watching this program, how can they apply for a ZEP? Who qualifies and what are the requirements?
Well, like today is an important day because the application system opens up today. I announced the website of VFS International, most of them, they have it, that they have to start applying as of today. So it's to ensure that when the time it closes in November, the processing period starts, at least their application will be in. And of course, we also inform them about the offices all over the country and additional ones, including the one VFS office here in Midrand, which is meant to assist them. And there will be a fee that people will pay slightly more than 1,000 at VFS. And of course, they'll have to produce all the necessary documentation and the process will start.
Could you just list some of those documents just for the sake of those that actually are watching and might not be sure whether they have a document missing or what they should bring across?
They have to have the Zimbabwean special dispensation, the valid Zimbabwean passport, and of course the amount of money that is needed. And you know, basically those are basic documents. And any other requirements that they'll be expected to do. What is good is that they apply online. So they will see all the requirements online once they open the website.
Well, you have talked about the process. How long since the applicant has applied? How long does the whole process take?
You know, we've done this before. It took much longer. And with time, I think we're trying to, the implementation plan is looking at increasing the number of people who will participate in the program and to cut down almost from when 2010 it took 2 years to 2 months now. That's our target. Yeah.
From 2 years to 2 months. I think that's quite an improvement, if I can say so myself.
It puts a lot of pressure on us.
Yes, definitely you have to deliver. Now, if
Yeah.
someone has applied for the ZEP, can they still travel home to Zimbabwe using the ZSP while they're waiting for the ZEP to be approved?
Well, they'll have to carry the expired ZSP and the receipt. That will be proof that they've really reapplied and they are free. And all our ports of entry will be informed. The financial institutions, remember, you know, these permits, they are for accessing quite a number of critical opportunities in the country. Insurance, the banks, whatever they require, so they'll produce those. So we'll send information that they must accept them as valid.
Well, do we have a number on how many Zimbabweans are in South Africa and maybe traveling? Sorry.
Yeah, it's, you know, we don't know how many are outside this dispensation, which we've captured, which is around 200,000. But undocumented ones, from all the information we have, and, you know, face value, when you meet people in our restaurants, it's like the number is far higher than what we have legally.
Now, Minister, this ZEP is also non-renewable. So what happens, you know, at the expiration date of the ZEP? Will there be new laws in place to try and help incorporate some of these Zimbabweans that still want to stay and work in South Africa?
Well, we are looking at SADC as a whole and the continent, because that's where the whole country is. Whom do we target to be in South Africa and for what? There's a self-interest around skills, around the economy in particular. But also we're working at a different level with our counterparts to create conducive environment in each and every country for people not to be asylum seeker because the push factor is unemployment, is lack of a vision in terms of SMMEs and all the things that we try to do here to help people, startups, even our in this, even with the Zimbabwean counterparts, we will be looking at what initiatives can the two countries initiate immediately so that we limit the number of people who will leave another country looking for basic skills like domestic services.
Now, let's just take a look at, you said that those Zimbabweans coming in also studying and also having them get employment in South Africa. We do know that South Africa has a problem with employment and unemployment rates. So how would you help the South African Republic then actually accept those people from Zimbabwe coming in and also showing them that it is South Africa's duty to help those Zimbabweans get employment and for them to actually also enrich their lives?
No, if you were to say to any community group, they will say, no, it's not South Africa's duty to look after Zimbabweans. But what we are trying to do, we are engaging our people to help them understand that we as South Africa, we are a small market. We need each other. We need to cooperate. That's why people, when they are here, they have to be here in a legal manner and in an orderly manner. Those who cross the line, who get into conflict with the police, they are deported immediately. So we have to find cooperation. Our people must see a value, not to see a terror, criminal activities and all the negative things. That's how we're approaching it, that there is value if you work together, if you cooperate. But we're very conscious and sensitive to the realities of unemployment and also the exploitation sometimes by the private sector, whereby you'll go to any hospitality space like the restaurants and so on, all over the country. You find that more than 60% of the workers there, they're not South Africans. So those are things that undermine our good intentions and send a very, very bad message to our people that we don't have our priorities right. We think we were gaining popularity within we can gain popularity within the continent at their expense. So we're working also with local government to make sure that at a local level they also assist us. When they issue licenses, they make sure that they are conscious of the fact that South Africans cannot just be displaced. And Department of Labor, of course, we have said, let's inspect what's going on in the hospitality industry. So it's to find that balance and not find our people saying everywhere we cannot get jobs because preference is to outsiders.
And is there any plans, maybe in the pipelines between the Home Affairs Department and other departments to perhaps create campaigns to sensitize South Africans to the fact that we are part of a continent, that it actually makes sense to work together with the SADC region and other members of the African continent and not just to focus on ourselves as a country?
You see, that's what we are cautiously doing now. I'm saying cautiously because as we are doing it, there's already anger and irritation about what has been happening, mainly coming from those who are illegal, who wake up in the morning next to a shack. So we have this outreach. Our communications department, working with government communications, are really targeting all the vulnerable spots because we know which ones are vulnerable. Formal settlements, the townships, rural areas, that's where people are talking a lot that look at unemployment here. Look at our young people. They won't get it. South Africa has been invaded. So we are working at a community level with the help of municipalities. They are understanding as well to issue licenses at a local level wisely. It will go a long way.
Well, I actually just want to turn the focus a bit. I want to get your views on what has happened currently in KwaZulu-Natal. We do know that the 2015 conference has been declared unlawful. Let's just get your views around this and what you think of the court ruling about this, about the elective conference.
Yeah, I was taken aback. First it's a shock, but I think the leadership of the ANC will have to assist the leadership of the province to find an amicable solution as soon as possible. That's an important, big province. It's important for them to pull their resources and their act together and provide political leadership. We have a conference ahead of us. We need that strong province to be on its feet.
And just lastly, Minister, if I can just get your opinion on something that the Secretary General mentioned regarding the fact that he thinks that there are too many presidential candidates. Do you feel that indeed there are a lot of people running for the presidency come the December elective conference?
Well, we have been joking about it. Sometimes when they are seated, we'll say, President so-and-so, President. But now that the conference is closed, it's real. It's becoming real. It's taking us back to what the leaders have been saying, that somewhere when we get there, we'll have to talk, look at each other through the eyes of the naked.
Well, just before we let you go, Minister, can we just have the website for the ZSP for those who actually want to log in there and just check that their papers are in order?
It's www.vfs.org international. Google will bring you closer to that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. That was the Minister of Home Affairs, Hlengiwe Mkhize, joining us in studio, just giving us some more information surrounding the new permit that has come, the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit that is different from the Zimbabwean Special Permit.